Hello, friends. This is Nathan Chua again, broadcasting here from Quezon City in the Philippines. And for those of you who are visiting me on this channel on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify uh, with my blogcast, uh, I this is all about me just reading an article that I just wrote on my blog. My website is onelifeonly.net. That's where my blog is. And that's also where you can find information about me and what I do and how I can help you with certain problems in life that you would probably encounter as you go through this journey that we're all in together. Okay. Uh, and for June, alam naman natin, it's the wedding month, right? So we have such a term called June bride. Okay. So the title of this week's article is Your Everyday Wedding Vows. So I like the title because we normally think about wedding vows as only happening during the wedding ceremony itself. And it's kind of a teaser to say that we do make everyday wedding vows. All right. So here goes. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish. And may kaduktong pa yon till death do us part, di ba? So this is all for the June brides and the grooms out there. Okay? When we hear this vow at wedding ceremonies, some of us can't help but sense the daunting task ahead for couples. However, what's lost in these words involves one of the main reasons why couples don't end up fulfilling these promises. So I think the data show that maybe half of the couples who end up getting married also end up getting separated. Sa Pilipinas, walang divorce. But many couples are either living apart, separated, or waiting for an annulment case to be adjudged, or just living parallel lives. Okay. So what's lost in the words involves one of the main reasons couples don't end up fulfilling these promises, and that is context or changes in the couple's context. Many marriages end not in particularly distressing times. Actually, it's not, when there's a big crisis going on that couples separate. I don't have the data on this, but just by my experience in working with couples, the best of times do not shield a relationship from conflicts that may lead to separation or an unhappy coexistence. What I mean by this is even if there are mundane things that couple disagree about, these seem to be the more, let's say, positive times for the couple, right? But even with the mundane disagreements or the day-to-day differences that they argue about, uh, y- these are actually the context in which, slowly but surely, sometimes the relationship of the couple starts to go south or become hard to deal with. All right. So yung mga araw-araw na away, dun, ah, mga, "Di ka pa ba naglaba?" or "Iniwan mo naman yung anong nakabukas," or something like that. So these are the small things that really eat up on a marriage, okay, or a relationship. Some changes in context come in the form of challenges to their dreams of what constitutes a happy marriage, or the rules that they thought would be followed faithfully. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, all describe a context wherein couples commit to standing their ground and being with each other in the most trying times. These are changes in context that are descriptive of major crises that heighten the solemnity of the event, right? So it's like part of the grandeur of the wedding, or the uh, the drama that we see in unfolding right in front of us when we see a couple sharing their vows with each other. Perhaps few couples realize that the moments when there are no crises can also set their course. So kahit those moments na wala naman malaking crisis, pwedeng may mangyaring hindi maganda, or they could be challenges. Example, maybe an in-law is coming for an unwanted visit. Ay, dadating na naman yung biyanan ko. Oh my gosh. Andiyan na naman yung tatay mo, yung nanay mo. Naku, sisermon na naman ako ng katakot-takot. Or a child is having trouble at school. A car breaks down and a daily routine drive is disrupted. You could probably hear stories of couples fighting because, well, who's going to drive the car? Well, how am I going to get to my workplace if we only have one car today? All right. Or for those of you who don't have cars, maybe motorcycle, or let's say, I don't know, maybe jeepney strike. So how are you going to get to work? So maybe certain expectations that your partner did not fulfill. All right. So mundane as they may seem, couples who are different will want to handle these situations differently. Ergo, we hear one of the most perplexing yet tragic complaints from couples. Their fights seem to come from nowhere. Trivial matters become issues that make or break the relationship. Ever heard of couples come to you and say, we fight about the most trivial things. I don't know how we end up deciding to uh, break up or not talking to each other for days or months, even just because we didn't agree on how he, let's say, cleans up after him, or we didn't agree about how, when to wash the dishes, or whether it's okay to leave the dishes in the sink. So these are very common complaints, and I'm sure for those of you who are in a committed relationship or long-term relationship, or who are married, you've all had this experience. We all operate differently depending on the context. I know I write better when I am in a secluded, well-lit, and quiet place. You may work better when you hear white noise from your favorite mini component stereo system. Can you imagine how a young couple sharing a small space has to deal with the potential conflict in the context of important deadlines? I want this place to be dead silent, and then the other person says, no, I can't work, I have a deadline to meet, I need music to kind of start my juices pumping, or something like that, you know. So, in other words, when there is a confluence of stressful events, It heightens our differences. It heightens our sensitivities. I usually say this to the couples when I do my feedback session with them. You know, the external stressors of your environment heighten yung pagkakaiba ninyo. Heighten yung mga sensitivities ninyo. All right? Let's take another example of a young professional who came to like a partner who was highly responsible and hardworking. As they were dating, the eventual boyfriend, who she ends up marrying, was very prompt on their dates, but could only devote one night a week for a date. She liked that about him, as her previous boyfriend was usually just hanging around her, sleeping on the couch, and occasionally even shooting drugs. In the dating context, this new guy was an oasis. Perfect. He's exactly the opposite of my ex-boyfriend who's, tamad, just sleeping on the couch all day, you know, doesn't have seem to have a lot of work to be done. You know, he's got his parents to depend on when it comes to maintaining his lifestyle. And this guy is the complete opposite. He's hardworking. He's very responsible. I'm happy with just dating him once a week. I can understand why, right? So that context, however, changes when they begin to chart their course as a married couple. All of a sudden, that once a week date feels like a concession. Pinagbibigyan na lang ako nitong asawa ko. Once a week na lang kami nag-date. Araw-araw kami magkasama. 6 days a week, nasa trabaho siya. Minsan, 7 days pa. The boyfriend and now husband is not addicted to drugs. Yay! But addicted to work. It's now the couch surfing boyfriend. That's the oasis. Oh, I wish I had my couch surfing boyfriend. Well, at least he was present most of the time, 'di ba? So, another example is a partner you married or committed to because he was very close and loving to his family. I remember some sayings that mothers would usually advise their daughters that however their boyfriends treat their mothers is the way they can expect to be treated as wives. If your boyfriend looks like he's very loving to his mother, I think that's the guy for you. Go get him, right? Don't let this one get away. In fact, your boyfriend was so close to his mom and family, he wanted you all to live in one place. Yeah. So you know where this is going. So sabi nga mahirap ang, kasama ang in-laws or may dalawang reyna sa loob ng bahay. So here's my tip for all of you June brides or grooms out there. Be aware that any positive quality about anything, which includes your fiance, has a flip side, not a dark side. Take social media, for instance. They have a flip side depending on usage. Your partner's most likable qualities have a flip side depending on where you are in your matrimonial odyssey together. To put it simply, not all qualities are likable in all contexts or in all situations. Like I said kanina, gusto mo yung taong masipag, nung nagliligawan kayo, well, magkita lang naman kayo every weekend. So, you don't see him working at home or working till the wee hours of the night. Ngayon, magkasama na kayo sa isang bahay o sa isang kwarto, naiinis ka ngayon. Bakit? Matutulog na lang tayo, nasa phone ka pa. Kung ano-ano ang mga business communications ang ginagawa mo. The trick is to be aware of this and see how you can handle your differences effectively. Remember that wedding vow represents not just your context in crisis situations, but also your everyday ones. So be more conscious of your everyday wedding vows to avert self-inflicted crises. All right? So that's the end of the blog or vlog or blogcast or podcast today. I hope you liked it. So, like I always say to my couples, the only rule I want you to follow is to be more aware, be more noticing, be more mindful of each and every moment that you spend with your partner. And if you're more mindful of the consequences of what you do, or the things that were most important to you when you got married or when you committed to this relationship, or you're more aware that your feelings are just your feelings, they don't have to dictate what you do. You can sit with those difficult feelings when you're with your spouse or partner. Then that's just that's the epitome of being mindful, of being or staying in the moment and slowing down and not really uh be kind of a hair trigger, a hair uh, a hair trigger away from exploding or running away or doing the silent treatment, you know. So that's about it. And if you're aware that every day the wedding vows remind you that you will be having experiencing different situations, different challenges, can you see them as opportunities moving forward for you to show up to the moment and be the kind of husband or wife or partner you want to be? All right. So that's about it. So thank you for bearing with me and listening to this podcast or video blog or reading the blog post in my website. Remember to like and subscribe, and please do share it with your friends and family. And also visit my website, onelifeonly.net, if you want more information. Bye bye for now.